Hi, this is Jason Hunt, and this is commentary on El Baile de Disculpa. And the reason I did a foreign language title is so that I can claim to have my art film from college. I've always thought it was a little silly and pretentious for all these college kids to decide they want to create art or documentaries and change the world, and it's just not something you can sustain a career on. But here's my college art film. If you look close, you see that's the only doorbell in the entire hallway. It's held up by gaffer's tape. Now, the apartment was free, clothes we borrowed from Eddie Bauer, the Victoria's Secret bag, not free. They wouldn't loan it to me, wouldn't give it to me. I ended up buying a tin of mints just to get the bag. That got a bigger laugh than I expected when she grabbed the bag. Here's the first apology. Flowers, of course, a cliche right off the bat. All the hallway shots, just one light shooting straight down the hall. That's me handing the flowers. For some reason, I can't remember, Casey wasn't there for this shot. Now, in the previous scene, you saw Eve wearing a blue shirt. Now, here's Renee wearing that same shirt, and that created a wardrobe continuity problem that I'll address here in a minute.
What just happened?
Okay, next apology, the candy and the bears. Now you see the balloons in the background. That apology we ended up not being able to use because since we weren't keeping track of who was wearing what shirt, it ended up not matching. And now it's just getting pathetic.
Days like this.
And now here we come into the introduction of Micah, hunky guy Micah, that I found on onemodelplace.com. I needed to have the really super handsome guy, and everybody made the same assumption that Adam's making. And of course the payoff is that Renee comes out, or Jenny. Now that hand gesture that she makes is the first visual cue that we have that Eve is deaf. Now originally I wanted to do this all in one take. They come down the hall, she shuts the door, Adam goes down the hall, they cross each other, but the hall wasn't wide enough, it wasn't long enough. I ended up having to cut it into pieces, and it feels awkward. Now, I mentioned Jenny's hand gesture earlier. The other visual cues that we have here are all of the hummingbird artwork. The hummingbirds apparently are kind of a mascot for deaf people, and I didn't know that. We ended up having all of this hummingbird artwork because my wife collects it. See, the trophy's accumulating there. And then we see Casey duck down to catch her eye. There's another visual cue. They're subtle, but there were, little things. Now, some people think, oh, well, she can't be deaf, she talks. Well, there are deaf people that can speak clearly and communicate, and I didn't think it was too much of a stretch. Casey is improvising completely here. I just told him, just go with it, and I just rolled camera, and we just cut back and forth with the different things that he did. When I went to have auditions for the cast, I put up flyers all over the campus, and nobody showed up. So Casey and Kim and Renee all came from the actor studio. I called Brian Cutler and I said, Brian, please, you gotta help me out. Here's the project. And he got me in touch with these three actors. They all did really well. And since then, I have worked with a number of Brian's students, and they've all done excellent work. And now here is the payoff. He has the little dictionary. This actually ties in all of the little visual cues we've had. And why they're both really dressed up, I didn't even start to address. That wasn't part of the problem. And there's the payoff. Now, of course, if I go back to my claim that this is an art film, it's metaphorical in the sense that men and women are always having problems communicating. The original assignment for class was to do this as a 5-minute silent picture, because when we were going to run this at the Kemper Art Museum, we didn't know if we were going to have a sound system or not. So the original assignment was do it as a silent, and I took that as an interesting challenge for me to try to tell a story visually without having to rely on the sound. And to that end, I think I accomplished the goal. Yeah, the ending's a little bit contrived, but, what are you going to do? So there you go. There's my 2 cents on my little art film. Those of you who enjoy listening to commentaries, I hope you got something out of it.